All right, it looks like we're live. So today I have something really special planned because we're going to be talking about innovating attractions, special effects, mobile trends, anticipating guest needs. But the biggest thing that I'm excited about, and first, let me welcome you to the show. This is Live with Sondra. I'm Sondra Shannon, your host and CEO of Gatemaster Technology. And I want to ask you a couple of things. I want to ask you a couple of things before we get started, and before we delve into the discussion of innovating and all of these great things that we're going to talk about today. So, what is here's the question: what's the most memorable special effect or immersive experience you've encountered at an attraction, and why did it leave such an impression on you? I want you to leave your answers in the comment section because I'm really curious to hear what that is. So the question is, what is the most memorable special effect or immersive experience you've encountered at an attraction, and why did it leave such an impression on you? And leave that in the comments because today I want to welcome to the show two of my industry friends. I'm very proud to call these two my friends because they are doing some really, really cool things in supporting attractions and helping them create the memories and experiences that our guests have come to know and love. And a really big part of what we're doing. And please, let's welcome to the show Nathan and Caitlin Hodges from Froggy's Fog. Are you guys there?
Everyone.
Yay!
Hi.
I have so much I want to talk about. I couldn't even like get the intro out. Like I'm like I really I asked the audience, what is the most memorable special effect or immersive experience they've encountered at an attraction, and hopefully we'll get some participation from the audience leaving a chat here. But the reason I asked that question is because I know for so many attractions, you guys are behind the scenes making so much of this happen. And so I wanted to just start with introductions real quick so we can dive into all the fun stuff. And I know, Nathan, you've been a trade show manager for Froggy Frogs, or tongue twister, Froggy's
It's a tongue
Frog.
twister. It's a tongue
Tongue
twister.
Froggy's Frog for a number of years. You're like a trade show legend. I always tell people if they don't know you, they need to go know you because you guys have one of the best booths, one of my favorite places to stop. I know after last year, my kids keep asking like, "Are you guys going to be at trade shows?" Because they love to walk over and smell all the scents and you guys just have a cool booth every year. I mean, at any show, one of the coolest booths there. So Nathan, tell us a little bit about your role and what's inspired you to be a part of this, and maybe even what brought you to the industry because I love those stories.
Well, first, my name's Nathan, and I'm, like she said, a culture manager of Froggy's Fog. Um, it's just something I've always kind of had a passion for, of making interactions with guests, with clients. Actually, Caitlin was the one who got me in with Froggy's Fog. When we first started dating, she needed help at IAPA for a teardown one day, and she's like, "Hey, come visit the booth." And so I went and visited, talked to the owners, Chris and Adam, and they were amazing from the word go. And after that, they were just like, "You're gonna start working with us." And I said, "Oh, okay, let's make this happen." So it's just I've learned over the years on what people really enjoyed interacting with, what they haven't enjoyed, what can we do to make stuff a little bit better. So what I basically do is I will design a booth, depending on where the show is and all that stuff. I will do the floor plan of the booth, figure out how much electrical we need, what machines we're going to take, what we're going to display, what we're going to show for everybody at that show. And then we'll pack it up, we'll get it out, we'll ship it, and when we get to the booth, myself and I got another gentleman who helps me, Dakota, who will build the booth and get it organized for everybody. Sales team comes in, we do our thing, and then we tear down the booth and ship it back. Then we do inventory again on all that. So we make sure we have all the right tools, equipment, all that stuff for us at the show, to make it a successful show for everybody.
Yeah, and I love your booth every time I see it, all the changes that you make from time to time. But I mean, it's no joke, all the things that you have to probably make sure you're handling in order to create like that. Yeah, I mean, your booth is a fully immersive experience
Hmm.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
at the show. So I mean, there's there's a lot of work that goes into organizing that for sure. And also helping these attractions and parks see, all that it is that you guys do to support them. So, this is what this show's about, is the people supporting the attractions.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
and Caitlin, moving on to you. I mean, you are no joke either. So it's we actually, I think on our first conversation, you mentioned to me that you are a graduate of the School of Mines, which is like literally I could throw a rock at it from my office here and be there. But I know that what that speaks to is that you are one of the geniuses behind all of those fun smells and things that you have over there. And I'd love it if you tell the audience a little bit about who you are and what kind of brought you here and what interests you in attractions. I know some of us just end up here, but I always say once you start working with attractions, you kind of become a lifer.
Yes, fact on that one. So I'm Caitlin Hodges. Been with Froggy's Fog officially full time. We have just crossed the 4-year threshold mark, but previously I was with them while I was still working for major theme parks down in Florida since 2011, and I'd come in and help them with trade shows, everything like that. But my interest in the attractions industry goes back to literally when I was 4 years old on the streets of Disneyland. I looked at my parents and said, I'm going to work here one day. And, your parents go, oh, that's so cute. Good for you. And then, sure enough, 2011 rolled around, graduated college, and got an internship with the Walt Disney Company and went to Florida and never looked back. So was down there for almost 10 years. Working for the Walt Disney Company, all through the Walt Disney Company, every which way direction, you could be. I went from guest services to guest communications to IT to food and beverage to, I was everywhere. And then COVID happened, world shut down. Froggies did not shut down. They actually expanded during that time because they did a massive pivot and they went into making hand sanitizer. So that's sort of the Froggies started off in 2005 making fog fluid. They grew. They knew they did not want to lay their employees off during COVID. They pivoted. They figured it out. And instead they grew the company. And then that's when Nathan came into play. Them knowing we had operations experience and having the operation literally grow overnight. It tripled, quadrupled. They turned hand sanitizer on March 27th of 2020, and overnight they got 46,000 orders.
Wow. I mean, I wasn't going to talk about that, but that is one of my favorite stories that you tell because it really speaks to the resiliency of this industry, the people in it, and what we had to do to make sure we could all still be here today. Because I don't always share my experience, but it's very similar in so much that we had to pivot. We had to be thoughtful about the actions that we were taking in order to make sure that we could still be here for the parks and the attractions that we were supporting. And I think that really says a lot about who you guys are as people in a company.
And I think it shows the how far we've come in just 4 years. Like literally looking back and going 4 years ago, we didn't know if the attractions industry was going to survive, what was going to happen. And in looking at it, and the attractions industry is growing. I mean, I have seen it. Last year saw exponential growth. This year, already seeing that exponential growth. Already seeing it's not slowing down. It's just continuing to grow. The immersive experiences are changing. They're growing. There's more and more immersive experiences happening all over the country. Look at, the Van Gogh experience to now there's immersive soccer experiences. There's immersive football experience. It's now, you don't just go visit the Football Hall of Fame. You go and they've made it into this whole immersive experience. And it's fun that we get to help out with that. It's fun that gets to be something that we are able to work with, that it's not just about concerts, theme parks, and haunted attractions anymore. There's so much more out there that's happened. And a lot of that came out of COVID because people were we were all stuck inside. So we were figuring out how, when we're not stuck inside, how can we change the industry? What new technology can we bring? And everyone went into R&D mode.
Yeah. I think that one of the biggest things that I'm seeing too is like the demand for experiences, because, COVID brought so many of us home. We were stuck behind our screens, and the demand for like real life experiences, not just the immersive experiences just add that like extra layer of excitement, I think, for everyone, but just being out in community with other people and doing things away from like the day to day that so many of us needed to escape during that time and still do. I mean, let's be real, how much time we spend on our phones, those times that we get to go to visit attractions and have experiences. And actually, that reminds me of something. Last week in my stories, I posted something about going to Disneyland and smelling the pirate smell on Pirates of the Caribbean. And Nathan sent me a message and he said, I know somebody who's got a pirate smell if you're needing, or something along those lines. If you're needing that, because I do, when I think of, when I go to Disneyland, for example, and I just use Disney because I grew up in Southern California. That was a park that we went to quite often. I mean, my grandfather named 2 of his kids after the birds in the tiki room. That's how much my family loved Disneyland. And yeah, my Aunt Suzette, she's like got that name. So everybody's always like, is that a family name? We're like, nope. Tiki room. So, but when I go to, let's say, the Pirates of the Caribbean, I mean, it instantly brings me back to so many experiences and memories that I've had with families. And, in my research for this show today, I was looking at, what is some of the, and Caitlin, you probably know a lot about this, what is some of the research that's been done with regards to scent and memory, and how scents trigger memory. Like, we know for sure that's what's happening with the brain. But also, one interesting thing that I saw was that one of the research studies showed that those who smelled scents for like recalling memory, were like 226% better than those who did not access the memory through scent. Like, it's insane. And, that kind of leads me to my next question, which is, how do you see the use of fog and scents and snow evolving in attractions in the coming years? And, what are your thoughts on that? Because I know you guys are firsthand providing that experience and like embedding those memories through memory or through smell, right?
And scent is your largest memory recall sensory kind of trigger. So scent is what triggers, smelling something is what's also going to trigger your, stomach saying I'm hungry. That's why when you step into, we're going to go back to Disneyland, why when you step into a Disney theme park and you smell popcorn and you're like, oh, I am kind of hungry. It's because it's triggering the muscle memory type of thing for the stomach to say, hey, I'm hungry. And that's why, Disney uses scent everywhere. I'm just going to be honest on that one. When you're stepping into a theme park, there's a scent machine, like on the popcorn machine. It's a little secret for you. They're
we're not trying to expose the secrets here, guys, but spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert. But it's because it's that trigger, it's that memory, it's that, you saying you went, you smelled the pirates and it brought back the memories. That's because that's your scent is what is helping store the memories in the brain. So it's just, and the use of it has grown exponentially because as people have used scent, or perfect example is haunted attractions or family fun centers or anything like that, bowling alleys, all of those type of places, when they put scent at the, like, let's say you have a laser tag arena and you go and you put cotton candy or popcorn or chocolate chip cookies scent in that room where you're kind of taking all your gear off and you have a concession stand, you're going to see a growth in your concession stand sales, because once as they smell it, they're like, oh, yeah, maybe some popcorn does sound really good, or maybe a chocolate chip cookie. You might not even sell that in your concession stand, but now you've just triggered them to go to your concession stand and go buy an item. So that's where we're seeing a lot more of that, because as we have taught that, a lot of people are like, oh yeah, last year my haunt, I saw, 18% increase in my concession stands. And it's because the last room before they exited that haunt, before the concession stand, they had, they pumped a scent in there. So we're seeing a lot
I love
of
that. I love that we're sharing this with people, because I think that so many of the attractions even that I serve, they're trying to figure out ways to get people to want to invest in their experiences. And part of that is the food, right?
Right.
And
Oh, absolutely.
trigger that after they go run through a laser tag arena and they're sweating and they've just worked out. I mean, you might get a little famished, so you might need those scents to remind you to replenish yourself. But it's funny. Speaking of laser tag, I love that you brought that up. Did you know I started in laser tag?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I started it with Qzar and fog machines. And one of my most favorite scents is fog.
Mm-hmm.
I know that sounds weird, but when I smell it, it brings back so many fun memories of, as a GM of a family entertainment center. And it just brings back so many fun memories for me of a time, an old time ago. We talk about the pirates. Every time I smell that smell, all of a sudden I can hear my dad singing, yo ho, pirate's life for me in my head. It was like one of my best memories. So I really love this conversation, and I love what you all are doing. Can you I know you're kind of Caitlin, one of the minds behind some of the scents. And, can you tell us a little bit about that process? I'm just curious if.
Yeah. So we actually just last year we redesigned all of our scent. We have not only did we redesign the scent, we also added about 12? About 12 new scents to our. So Pirate Ship is one of our new scents that came from a few different customers over the years saying, hey, I'd love a pirate ship scent. I do a lot with escape rooms. They might have like an escape the pirate ship, like some type of pirates themed escape rooms. Escape rooms love scent. Haunted houses love scent. I mean, I'd say scent's going in everywhere now because it's so versatile. It's an easy addition, and it's an inexpensive addition to your attraction to just create a whole nother level of immersiveness. So we redesigned all of our scent last year. I can't take credit that I do all the chemical, I'm not a perfumer, but I do have an amazing perfumer who, the funny part, this goes back to COVID, goes back to the COVID world, COVID days. He actually owned his own lighting design company, a production company out of Chicago. When the world shut down, he decided he was going to learn how to be a perfumer. And literally took the basement of his house, built an entire lab, learned how to be a perfumer. And he is now my perfumer. But it's great because he also has a production background. So he's very in tune with what the needs of our clients are. So when we redesigned everything, it's very realistic, very in tune. Before we could only have about 20 of our scents go through fog machines. Now every single scent can go through a fog machine, which is amazing because he was able to design it so that way that when they go through the fog machine, they still are realistic to their characteristics. So like if you go to our scent catalog, you'll see we have everything from great scents like chocolate chip cookie and cotton candy and popcorn and cherry and strawberry and bubblegum and all those very happy scents to very not so pleasant scents. If it has a not so pleasant name, it's not pleasant. And that's for our haunted attractions and some of our escape rooms like Slaughterhouse and Stinky Cheese and Dumpster and Gag Reflex and all those lovely ones.
All the ones that my teenage boys would love.
I think
which is why they want to go by your booth.
But it's so I can't take full credit for the actual design of like the chemistry behind it, but I have an amazing perfumer who the great part is him having the knowledge of the industry has just adds a whole nother layer to be able to help the industry. Or if someone comes to us and says, I have a need for this, can I design a special scent that is now going to be just for my attraction? The answer is yes. We can do that. No problem. We will work with you and we will make a special scent for your attraction that is just yours. So yeah, 100% customizable. And that's the great part is about us still being a small business. We can do that. Someone wants a customizable fluid, customizable scent, not a problem. Like let's get on a meeting. Let's figure out what your needs are. We'll send you samples. You can run it. You can do what you need, and let's make it happen. And I think that's the big part is, and what we're also seeing in immersiveness, kind of going back to even the previous question on that, was snow. Everyone thought snow was just Christmas. Snow isn't just Christmas. You can put snow into so many other types of immersive experiences. Volcanoes. What do volcanoes give out at the end of a volcano? Ash. You can scent we have a volcano scent. You can scent the snow to be like a volcano, put it in a volcano. Everyone's gonna be like, wow. Like everyone just, think of most attractions you go to, the volcano spits out fog or they'll spit out a water vapor mist or something like that. Well, then what happens when you start spitting snow at the end and then they get that sensory kind of like that cold drop on their skin? Having that cold drop on the skin is a whole nother sensory layer to something.
Yeah, that's actually a really cool point.
Yeah. You do a laser tag that's like a atomic, like a end of the world apocalyptic theme. You can have snow in it. And the cool part is we offer UV snow. So you have some black lights in there and it's going to be gold flakes dropping through the air that looks like, on fire little, fire droplets or something. Like
that's awesome.
So, awesome. I mean, you reach out to us anytime and be like, this is what I want to do, because fog, snow, haze, bubbles isn't just what you think it is. It can be something else. And that's the cool part about bubbles. We did the toxic bubble effect where we made them look like they were toxic looking,
Yeah, I mean that's why I'm so excited to have the two of you on today, because one of the things that we at Gatemaster feel is that our purpose and our mission is to help every attraction massively succeed. And I know that you guys share that sentiment because you are willing to work with attractions and figure out what is that special thing for them. And you're right, it goes so much more beyond the fog and the sense. And how do we overlay that into the overall experience? And what are we doing to trigger the memory, right? We want people to come back. We want them to remember these experiences. And, but that kind of leads me to my next question. What do you see are some of the challenges that attractions face when implementing these types of special effects? And how do you help them overcome that? If there is any. I mean, you guys might have it all figured out, but I'm curious what you see being like maybe a challenge that someone might have in implementing this, and how you guys would help them through that.
Probably the fire suppression systems, making sure that a lot of people will be like, oh, in here, and like kind of educating them on making sure the fire suppression system is not a particle based. If it's a heat based, you're good, because then your fire suppression system's looking for high heat signature. So if you blow fog, you're not going to have a high heat signature. If it's particle based, there is a possibility that it will set alarms off. So kind of educating on that, on the questions they need to talk through. If you're building a new attraction, if you're upgrading an attraction, what questions do you need to talk to your fire suppression system company, your local, fire department, anything like that. Educating there, I think probably also educating on the safety of staff, like how to properly fill a machine, know when it's empty. There are ways that if you hear a machine, there are certain sounds that you're like, oh, that machine's empty. You'll hear this like pump grinding noise, and yes, that means your machine's empty with fluid.
Yeah.
Also, that a lot of people view fog as not safe, and that is because back in the day, before there was regulations out there in the world, people might have made home brewed cocktails. There wasn't the regulations behind it. So what sets Froggy's Fog apart from just your average off the shelf fog machine fluid at, let's say, a big box retailer? You know, the steps we've taken as a company, with our actors equity backing, doing the environ testing, making sure we can be in zoos, aquariums, museums, all that sort of stuff. Just that educational piece. A lot of people, they get nervous because they hear about like, oh, well, what about an asthmatic coming into it? I'm a full asthmatic. Literally, when I met the owners of the company, I will say, when I heard, you know, when they're like, oh yeah, we're a fog company, I was like, oh, I don't like fog. It hurts. And they were like, okay, back up. Let me teach you why we're different. And when they taught it to me, I was like, oh, that all makes sense.
Yeah.
And so I think that that's the big teaching piece, teaching, you know, what a fog machine does and how it creates the fog and why pure clean fluid is the best.
And then we're also listening to, you know, our clients as well. Is like, we just created a new machine that just debuted at Transworld this past year, and it's our flameless machine. Yep. So instead of giving you the effect of fire without any true fire, it's literally just water particles and LED lights going up to mirror it to give you that flameless machine look without actual fire in it. So we're listening as well to creating, you know, new products to help as well in that aspect.
Yeah. And like Thanos gun last year, since we know CO2 is becoming more challenging to get, more expensive, everything like that, we created a battery operated fog blaster.
Wow. Well, I mean, you guys are solving some of these issues that, you know, it's solving the challenges that they might be presented with. You have the answers. Again, it's about education. That's why we're talking about this right now, because I think that there are probably a number of viewers or listeners that are watching us or will watch us on replay. If you're watching us on replay, make sure to hashtag replay so we know you're here. But they, you know, educating them on these processes, because this is only going to enhance what they're doing at their experiences. And, you know, we're creeping up on time, but I do have one more question, because I know that you guys are so involved in the industries that you serve. And I'm curious if there are any community initiatives or collaborations that Froggy's Fog. I always have to tell people, I'm like, I'm sorry, you got a dyslexic on here. Froggy's Fog has been involved in supporting the attraction industry. Is there anything big like that you've got going on that you can talk about?
Yeah. So we do, through the Haunted Attraction Association, we have collaborated and sponsored their educational series to further the safety in the haunted attraction industry. They offer different types of courses. So if you are in the haunted attraction industry, escape rooms, anything like that, they have what's called the chaos classes. And it actually, a lot of attraction insurance companies actually will, if you do that, then it'll go towards like discounts in your premiums and all that stuff. But we sponsor their educational series. We also offer, through the haunted attraction industry, scholarships. So we sponsor a scholarship for those that are furthering their education in the attractions industry. It doesn't matter how you are, if you're going to school for, you know, business, hospitality,
sure,
but you're looking to further education for, you know, attractions. We do offer scholarships there. We work with many fire departments. We have a whole other aspect of the company called our training smoke side. So we do work with fire departments for their safe training. So that way they're not having to train in real fire scenarios. We have a whole fire training line. We work with the military, all that sort of stuff. So that's kind of, and then just a lot of, you know, people can reach out and, you know, if we have the ability to do it, whether it's, you know, maybe a gallon of fluid or something, like we try to work with as many companies as possible, because we want to make sure that everyone's safe in, you know, their offerings and educating, on that safety. So
Yeah, no, I love that. And, this is so important that people know that there are folks like you who can help them enhance these experiences. You guys are involved in community, you're involved in the industries. I know haunted attractions are a big one for you guys, and that is one of my partners, her favorite as well. I just don't like jump scares. I'm afraid, you know what I mean? Like if I could handle jump scares, I would be all in. But I can't even watch a scary movie. I don't have the heart for it, I guess. I don't know what it is, but I know that you guys are really actively involved in that particular segment of the industry and that they are taking advantage of so many of these things that you're providing. But you're right, it is so much about education. And this is a big reason why I was excited to have you here, because I know even on, our ideal client is a water park, theme park, museum, zoo. Like you said, you can use this safely in zoo. They still have the need for that enhancement to the experience. And, I want to thank you both for being here and educating us. How would someone get a hold of you? What's the best way? And also tell us where you're going, because I know you've got some fun events planned, but also you guys are on the road all the time.
we are.
What you're doing. So where can somebody catch you?
We are on the road very for the next 3 months. We are home road. But so the best way to reach us is honestly, you can visit our website, which is froggiesfog.com. You can also email, and I would actually say, because we are on the road so much right now, email sales, SALES, at froggiesfog.com. You can tag, say, hey, I watched the live with Caitlin and Nathan and Sondra. Our great customer service team will get those emails over to us, but that way, or be able to help you in that moment, just because we just literally got back on Monday from Philadelphia. We were at East Coast Haunters Convention in Philadelphia. We leave on Saturday to head down to Miami, where we are getting on a cruise ship with about 50 other people that are all in the Christmas and haunted attraction industry. Where every year, first week in May-ish, we always do a big kind of group cruise where it's kind of like just a bunch of us all coming together, because we're about to hit our busy seasons, our build seasons, for us, it is our busy season because we're helping all the attractions get ready for their seasons. And so it's just kind of a big kind of get together, friends all kind of go on this cruise. And then we literally come back from that. Then we're on the road for, Chicago, Vegas. I will be down in Ocala with you, Sondra, and Jake at the Florida Attractions Association show. So, but yes, just email sales at froggiesfog.com. Let them know you watched the live, and they will work to get the email over to us, maybe be able to answer your question or anything like that. And, that's going to be the best way, just because we are on the road so much.
Yeah, I know you guys are on the road a lot. I mean, I'm on the road a lot, but I think you got me beat. So we chat back and forth. Every time I talk to you guys, you're somewhere doing amazing things, though. And like I said, it is always one of my favorite booths to stop by, not just because of the two friendly faces that you have, and I do consider you both my friends, but it's just a cool booth. It's cool what you do. And a lot of people, when I try to explain, I'm sure you've had a similar experience to this, I try to explain what we do in attractions and supporting them, and that's a hard thing for people to understand, because people don't think about the smells and the fog and the making all of those special effects happen when they're in the middle of the experience, because they're just having the experience. And that's really what we want them to have. We want them to remember the experience.
Just have the experience and then remember it and tell others, come back, do all that fun stuff. And then also, if we're on the road and we're by your attraction and you want us to swing by, we are never, I can't tell you the amount of times we do customer visits when we're on the road, or if we need to set up time that we come out to your attraction and walk your attraction with you and figure out the best ways that we can assist you. We're never opposed to, literally, the best way I always put it was December 30th this year. A customer reached out and was like, can someone get to my location? And I was on a plane January 3rd.
Nice.
We can get on planes, we can get on trains, we can get on automobiles, and we can get to you to help you build a better attraction and figure out what's going to work best and how we can assist you too. Never.
Yeah, I mean, you guys are providing legendary service for sure. That's one of our values over here, and that's why I'm so thrilled to have you guys get exposed to at least some of the people that we talk to in this audience, because I think there's so much that you have to offer, and we got to educate each other about how to continue to be great in this industry. And there's so many things and so much innovation happening. I mean, just what you said with all the different scent lines, and now they can all go through the fog machines. I mean, it's amazing. It's an amazing time to operate an attraction, and we just have to share these ideas with people so that they can keep enhancing what those experiences look like. And I just want to thank both of you for being on the show today. It was great information. I learned a lot, and I talked to you about this a lot, but I learned a lot today with regards to how all of this is affecting the experience, and some of the behind the scenes. Like I said, I apologize for any spoilers if we ruined any of that magic for any of you, but these are necessary conversations for those of us that are moving this industry forward. So thank you both for being here. And I is there anything, last words that you want to leave before we sign off?
Thanks for having us on.
Yeah, thanks for having us on. It's great. And our big thing too is education. How can we help educate people on how to, use the product safely and be able to move forward in, their attractions and innovate. So.
Well, and you guys are not leaving any reason why they shouldn't, right? Because you are educating them, you will help them through it, and you do have that legendary service. So thank you both for being here, and I'm excited to see you in Florida, because
I know.
I think that's where we first met, right? Yeah, I think it was Florida Attractions we first met at. So on that rooftop, now it's all coming back to me. I think it was the drinks though. Didn't we get like the creme brulee drink?
Yeah, we got
before that.
We went to dinner. Yeah, I think we
met at dinner.
We met at
dinner. That's right.
And then we went to that like Bridgestone. Yeah, it was like a bridge. It was like a tire themed like little restaurant thing by Bridgestone or Firestone or something like that. Yeah.
Well, and Jake and I they went back to Fort Myers. Was it
last year?
Last year. Yeah. They went back to Fort Myers.
Yeah, he was at a different show. I was there with you guys. Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't think we went to that same rooftop bar that night, but we did, I think, the first night. And I was totally thinking about you guys. And also, hey, if anybody needs some expertise on cruises, these are avid cruisers. Is that what they call them? Cruisers?
Yeah.
They go on a lot of cruises. I know that if I ever have questions about going on a cruise, I know who to talk to. Yeah. And that's going to be you, Caitlin. So thank you guys both for being on the show. If you'll just hang out for me just a moment, I'm going to wrap things up with the audience. And I just want to make sure that you guys know that if you have some sort of industry expertise that you would like to share with our audience, be a guest on this show, there's a QR code here for you to scan. Love to hear your insights. Love for you to help us educate people who are providing these experiences for families and friends and community. And the way that we can do that is through just having these conversations. So if you'd like to have a conversation with me live with Sondra, I would love to do that with you and collaborate in whatever way makes sense. If you have questions for me, if you have questions about what we talked about today, we will keep the chat open, and I'll be monitoring that so we can make sure that we get your answers, for you. But if there is something that I can't help you solve, my promise to you is always that we're going to put you in touch with the people who do, people like Nathan and Caitlin who were on the show today. So I'm going to sign off. I hope you all have a very excellent Wednesday and the rest of your week. And if I'm so lucky, hopefully I'll catch you at some of these shows that we're all going to be at, these trade shows and conventions that we're all headed to throughout the summer. So if you have questions about that, of course, check out our website. We've got those listed. And thank you today for listening and being a part of this show.